If you'd like to try what we make at Superstition, it's as easy as going to our website, superstitionmeadery.com, clicking on Web Store, and you're shopping. Make sure you follow us on social media because we release new products almost every week, and you might just find your next favorite craft beverage. Cheers. So Kim, I think we should try this mead that I really hope it's as good as I want it to be because we put so much effort into making this with Carvin Wilson, who is the best home mead maker in the world and a really awesome dude. He came up a long time ago. It was in July, I think a year and a half ago, to make this with us. And it sat around for a little while as we managed it because we had never done a fermentation that was exactly like this. It's mellow, big fruit mead. We've got black currants and blackberries and raspberries. And one of the things Carvin and I talked about, we were hanging out at his house one day, trying a bunch of different meads, and he said, you know, there's a lot of great big fruit mellows in the world, but not all of them are balanced with the right amount of acidity. And so we came up with this idea of let's try a little pineapple juice, not to be like a tropical mead, but to have a layer in there that would really kind of counter and accentuate the diversity that you're going to get from all this fruit and the honey and the sweetness, but let's have a little pop. Let's brighten it up. Totally. So that was kind of the intention here. And because we put so much effort into this and it was so expensive to make, I felt like we should spend more money on this barrel. And we actually bought 2 of these barrels, but there wasn't even enough liquid to fill. It was like just more than 1, and we have like a couple bottles of the non-barrel aged sitting around as a secret mead somewhere. But we only have 1 60-gallon barrel of this. And it was about $1,200 just for the barrel.
Man.
And, you know, American oak barrels are usually like $500 delivered, although, you know, these days, who knows? I'm sure everything just costs more. But French oak is twice that. And this is French oak, but it's the super fine blend from Radu Cooperage. And when you look at the width of the grain in this head stave, I mean, that's less than a millimeter in places. Like 1 millimeter is like perfect oak. And this is even tighter than that, which is insane. A lot of the oak barrels we get, there'll be like, you know, 1 to 2 millimeters of width. Sometimes there's a wide, I mean, you know, trees grow differently. Every once in a while you get some really tight grain, but they hand selected each stave that went into this barrel. And this is, you know, just what we had to do for the Carvin collab. So we just call this Carvin, and we even have a cool, classy label for it. And 225 liters, first fill ever. So I've never tried, no one's ever sampled this barrel. So do you want to have the honors of pulling the nail?
Sure.
Cool. All right, well, you're a pro, so I will support you. You know what to do. All right, while that dries just a bit, we've got nails here, and I'll hand you one if you need it.
Okay.
Here's your hammer, and then we've got our ambassador over here. Do you want to catch it too, or work the nail?
I'll do the nail.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, that is a healthy stream.
Good?
I think we're good. Nice.
Spray that just a little bit more.
All right, so we have never used all of these ingredients together. We've used them, you know, either separately or in different meads. But yeah, just not 1 drop of water in here. That is all honey and fruit juice. It smells a little bit roasty to me.
Definitely get the raspberries on the nose, the blackberries.
Maybe it's almost like caramelized fruit. You ever do like a reduction?
Oh yeah.
I've used our blackberry hacks as a reduction for swordfish before.
Oh yum. Sounds amazing.
It kind of reminds me of it's like how that smelled when I was cooking it.
I'm trying to see if I can sense any of the pineapple, and it really is just a supporting character. It's not
a tropical mead. And that was the goal. We wanted it to be like a big, rich, dark fruit mead, but so satisfying and balanced. And I think for the Superstition style, we're usually hitting the clock around 13-14%, semi-sweet, and really nice balance. And we do crazy things in all different directions. But if I was gonna try and categorize maybe half of what we do for our bottled meads, our barrel-aged meads. That's kind of what we go for. This is actually 16%.
Ooh.
And I get a little bit of ethanol in the nose, but not a lot. Like, I'm not expecting this to be boozy.
Wow.
I'm pretty happy with this.
Yeah. That's nice.
It's oxidized in a very pleasant way. Not quite like a tawny port, but I think it's kind of heading in that direction. We did have this set in a fermenter for a while, and we kept it topped off with argot until we were able to find the time in our production schedule to fill this barrel. It's been in there for 7 months right now.
Okay.
So that's 7 months in this super tight grain French oak barrel. I'm getting a little more alcohol as I have a little less in my glass and I really get in there and smell it, but it's still super balanced.
And the oak isn't overwhelming at all. It's really just nice and smooth.
So it's cool that you say that because that's what French oak is known for. Silky tannins. There's probably a ton of wines named that, but that would be, we might have to try and use that sometime. Silky tannins. That's what the really tight grain does. It's gonna impart the secrets of the staves slower and more elegantly than wider staved, more assertive oak that you would get from, traditionally from American oak.
How long do you think this will stay in this barrel?
Well, that's what we're here to decide.
Yeah.
Because I think it's going to keep getting better. I mean, if things were going unexpectedly, and like if you were like, hey, I'm getting like a ton of oak, I'd be like, it's probably time to pull it. I'm not getting a ton of oak. I'm getting silky tannins, a really subtle oak character. I mean, you can age wines, really nice wines in French oak for years, so I don't know how long we're gonna be able to stand it. But I don't think, I mean, maybe we'll try it again in 3 months, and maybe Christmas time, like a solid year in the barrel might be really nice. If it's tasting great, then it could come out, and if it's just improving, I think maybe we should let it ride.
Well, that's really fun.
I remember trying this right before it went into the barrel, and it was good, but it wasn't quite this clear. We did a coarse filter when we put it into the barrel, and the coarse filter, when I tried it, it did not look this clear. So it is settling in there. So there's also some just a minuscule amount of lees, and when you age wine on the lees or mead on the lees, and I don't mean lees like first fermentation, and from you homebrewed, like you want to rack stuff out of primary into secondary, like when fermentation's done, because autolysis is the yeast is, the cell walls are breaking down, it's releasing off flavors and aromas, like the products of fermentation that the yeast has trapped in its cell. You don't want that in there. No. But over time, there are definitely styles of winemaking where you want to have the barrel settle the lees out in there naturally without filtering, and that can introduce, again, a silky mouthfeel. And I think we're starting to get that. I think it's more from the wood than the lees, but I think that the lees are doing something because this is much clearer than I recall. It's
much more blended and together, too. It was a little sharp before. Now it's really just relaxed.
You're right. That's a really good way to describe that. If I use my imagination in the finish, I can taste pineapple, but I know it's there, and it's doing what it was intended to do, and it's such a great validation as a mead maker when you have an idea, you're doing something differently than you've done it before, but you're taking all of your knowledge that you've acquired over years and trying to do something intentionally to have a result like this. I mean, if I bottled it today, I'd be psyched. I mean, that is absolutely one of the best meads we've ever made. And I would say, like, just a classic melomel. And, more than half of every mead sold in the world has fruit in it. People love mead with fruit. And we wanted to make a perfect version of that, and I think we did it.
Yeah, I think it's a really good homage to Carvin Wilson, too.
Amen. Cheers.